So yeah, welcome back, Tyler. This is Nicardo Media House. You on the Media House fan page. We had a previous video, I think a month and a half ago. It's glad to have you back, bro. Really pleasure. But last time we spoke about Luton Town, I asked you a question, how you feel about promoted to the Premier League, and you told me, it haven't sunk in. Did it sunk in as yet, bro? Like all that feeling sinking?
Yeah, as soon as the players were walking out, I was obviously watching the game today with my dad, because that's what we do when obviously I'm not at the game or he's at the game, etc. And yeah, that's when it really sunk in for me. Seeing the players have the Premier League sleeve, obviously on the side of their arm, and obviously the Premier League ball as well. Just you can see the Premier League everywhere. Even on what I watched it on today, it's a lot different to what it's been like when it's been the Championship. So yeah, completely different. And today was the day it sunk in.
Yeah, but you guys have a pretty decent first half. We're trying to just keep the shape. Trying to make sure you get in the first half with a clean sheet. You got a chance by Morris in that 45th minute, that header that came from the left hand side. Little half chance, but for a big man, I think you should have tried to get that ball on target. But just sums up the whole game and how you feel about your team playing in the Premier League.
Yeah, no, of course it's it's absolutely brilliant. For me, it's if not one of the greatest stories in English football, if not the greatest story. Just a sense of being in the conference and then all them years later we're in the Premier League competing with the big boys and the teams that are upcoming, like Brighton, for example. So it's brilliant to see. The game itself, going into it, obviously I did say a draw, but then I did have a feeling they would edge it. I'm a bit disappointed, with the performance. Of course, again, I know it's going to be completely different. It's going to be harder. We are going to have these games, but at the same time, I felt we did hand them goals a couple of times. The first goal, it was a brilliant cross, and a brilliant headed goal by Solly March. We know he's got them capabilities, but I feel we need to get a defender in, because as much as I like Amari Bell, he's not a natural he's not a natural centre back, and if you look back at the goal, you were seeing him say to Giles, to keep an eye on him, but Giles has got Welbeck. That's who Bell should be marking all day. He has tried to get it, but at the same time, he's telling Giles to try and get to it. It's not going to work. And obviously we did have the chances in the first half, like you said, the odd chances. The Morris chance was very unlucky. Usually with Morris, he's not really in games, but then he just pops up with a goal. That's what it's been like recently anyway, when we played these, games even towards the end of last season. But, I thought we'd done well in the first half. I thought we'd done well overall, but second half is where it wasn't so great. I felt the penalty, it's too soft for me. It's not really a penalty. I don't feel. I feel he's went down way too easy. And it's just annoying because obviously it's a typical former Watford player, so that's probably the only thing Watford fans are going to celebrate in the upcoming weeks. But is what it is. Kaminsky, who was obviously in goal, made his Premier League debut. He was pretty good. He was probably my man of the match, to be fair. And that sounds mad because we conceded 4 goals, but for all of them, he was unlucky, or he couldn't really do much. The penalty, he nearly got to it. First goal couldn't have done anything. The third goal, was one where he was unlucky again. Ruddock, love the guy. Most of us Luton fans do. Obviously he's been with us since the journey, but you can't afford to take them, many touches in the Premier League. And it did cost him. And then obviously the fourth goal, it's a ball that's played across, and he can't do much there. So for me, he's my man of the match. The amount of times he saved it, prevented it from being even more, and the post helped us a lot as well today. But yeah, a lot to learn, and it is a massive reality check. So yeah.
Different from that defensive era where you appoint, like, you need an ex centre half, Where else you think the coach is strengthening?
For me, we need to bring another goalkeeper in. You know, I look at our options on the bench and they're not great. You know, I don't rate James Shea or Matt Macy for this level, especially not Matt Macy. James Shea, you know, I get why he's still in and around the club because, again, he's one of them. He's been at the club for ages, but sometimes you need to stop this sentimental stuff and you need to move on. You know, we've done that with other players. Harry Cornick, you know, there's been a few others, you know, that have gone recently. Sonny Bradley, for example. So, for me, we need to get someone in. Obviously, we are looking at Ruddy, and that's been a heavy talking point at the moment, obviously, from Birmingham. Not sure if he played today, actually, but with them, it's more they're waiting to see if they can bring someone in and then he'll come to us because everything else has been agreed. They're just looking for someone to replace him, which is fair enough, of course. You know, he is their starter. So goalkeeper for me. And I think up front, we're all right. You know, Brown.
You think Mate is a good backup for Morris?
Who, sorry?
Mate, you think is a good backup for Morris?
McAtee, yeah. I think there's a player there. I think he's one of them where people haven't seen too much of him, so he's sort of a hidden gem. But I think he's got a lot to prove. Obviously, his brother's smashing it when he plays for Manchester City every now and then. Obviously, not yesterday, but in the pre-season, he looked very good, and obviously, he done very well at Sheffield United, his brother. So competition when it comes to that. You know, what I have seen in McAtee so far, you know, especially in our pre-season game against Wolves, he come on and looked like he can cause a threat. Against Peterborough as well, he scored. Granted, these are, you know, Brighton are better, you know, teams than them, and we will play better teams overall. But I think he is a good one. You know, like I said about Brown, he come on today and he looked good. He did look good for me. You know, obviously he's the Joe Taylor replacement for this season. I mean, me ideally, like I've said on my channel, I wasn't disappointed about signing Brown, but I'm surprised we haven't gone in with someone experienced, you know, when it comes to the Premier League, you know, in that sense. So maybe another midfielder, but out of every, you know, area, defence, midfield and striker, goalkeeper, I think we're chilling the most in the midfield, to be honest. But if we get someone else in midfield, obviously being linked with Hannibal from Man United for a loan, that I'd definitely take that. I think quality players there. He's already got a good connection with Chong, obviously, through their time at Birmingham. So they're the three positions I feel we still need to go in on. And Rob Edwards has come out himself and said we are going to get 3 or 4 more. So we'll see, man.
Yeah. Next game is at Stamford Bridge because that game postponed with Burnley.
Yeah, Stamford Bridge in 2 weeks' time from now.
Mate, it doesn't get easier, mate.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, but Tyler, I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. You know, give us, you know, a good quick reaction on what's going on in Luton. You know, especially that game, you know, just played against Brighton. You know, but it's good to have you, bro. You know, I really appreciate it. You know, thank you for coming, bro.
No worries, mate. Thank you for bringing me on.
Yeah. Thanks. Cheers, bro.
In the city life, I'm feeling so alive. Drifting around the corner, got them shades on my eyes. It's a pretty little thing by my side that's flawless. Why you niggas still chasing roaches?